Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I'm your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, your midday market report closing bell for Tuesday, November 15, 2022. Yes, I was just on for 45 minutes with Ron at 8 Sports, breaking down some college football, some NFL, some futures, all that good stuff. Now it's time to get you to that window with myself and Southside Riley, breaking down some MACtion tonight, some NBA, some college hoops. Can talk about the Eagles debacle if you want. I got to talk about the ECSI VIPs right now. Gave out one game last night. Calgary team total over 3.5. They got there in the first period. We're on a 10-1 heater. We start the week 1-0. And you know what? I'm going to bring Riley on to explain this because he was here yesterday and I went over a couple of the games that ended up on the desk. I had 3 desk plays, 1, 2, 3. And of course, you know what happens when you put 3 desk plays on the desk. They all come in, of course. Could have been 4-0 last night, but I'm grateful. I am grateful. I started the week 1-0, but let's bring him in. The one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. What is up, Riley?
What is up, my friend? Yeah, please. Thank you for bringing me on for the for what you've got to dish out here. But yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll today. We've got a pretty underrated slate as far as across the board, at least with different leagues, different offerings. Nice college basketball, decent everywhere around. So I'm ready to rock and roll. But please go ahead with what you were about to lay down.
So we end the week last week 9-1. We close out the week plus 7 units, give or take, 50 cents. So you wake up Monday morning. We call it Envelope Monday. Okay. It's a new week, new start, fresh start. So the thought process is this. I'm going to let you play devil's advocate here. Let's say you're a $100 player.
Sure.
You just went to your local barbershop and you collected $6.50 for the week. You're already thinking Christmas shopping. What am I going to get the missus? You're going to, a couple little hundreds over here for a cold, rainy day. And now it's a new week. You can go 4-0 just as easily as going 0-4. Mm-hmm. So if you release 4 games on a Monday and go 0-4 or 1-3, that plus 650 in your pocket, you're already saying, now, should I really get her that? Now we're already chasing 2.5, 3 units. And you know how it works. When you start playing the chasing game, then it's a kid in the candy store. Well, that game doesn't look bad. No, that game looks real. And you just start throwing darts. So we released Calgary, team total over 3.5. They got to 4 in the first period, ended up with 6. We're 1-0 for the day. That's it. Collect our unit and have some fun. I talked on the show about the desk plays, and it's comical. I talked about the Georgia over. The real number was 148, and it was closed at 140, and they get over. That's number 1. I talked about Penn State. Yep. I said -5, -5.5. Where did it land?
I landed on 6, right?
Landed on 6. That's 2. I had on the desk Carolina team total 3.5 under. And they get to 3 early in the third period. And now I'm saying to myself, all right, get the 4th one. So at least the desk plays went 2-1. You only would have 1.9. And it stayed at 3. So, listen, we're on a 10-1 heater. I couldn't be happier. But in the back of my mind saying, man, we could have been on a 13-1 heater right now.
It's easy to play that game, and I am in that boat very, very often. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I always have even when I feel like I'm seeing things spot on, and I might even have, I only had one play yesterday, but let's say I have 7 or 5, 6, 7 where I'm like, this feels like what I've been seeing the last week or so, and it's been crushing. And then just for myself, had so many experience of okay, well, at some point you're due to fall to the earth, come crashing down. And then sometimes, for me, it feels like whenever I jump in and go aggressive, then that's when I fall on my face. And like what you did and leave a bunch on the desk, that's when the ones on the desk end up working out. And you're like, I knew I was a genius over here somewhere. And obviously you had some great plays. But I mean, the Penn State one though, that one, that was the one that I ended up taking to the window. But that one, I mean, I'm thanking my lucky stars. And that one, whenever I have one that's like that and it ends up being a scary close finish, then I can tell myself, you know what, I was right to stay away. That ended up being a toss up. It's the ones that go, if Penn State won by 20, then that would have been one where you're like, well, damn, that one was a no doubter, that one. But either way, you're crushing it. You're having a good week. You gotta keep afloat. You gotta keep the rides rolling. So it's not a bad strategy by any means to play it. Yeah, better safe than sorry, almost in most cases, in my opinion.
So I get to the office early today. I put, you know what? I'm going to give props where it's due. Spanky odds at Spanky odds. Spanky's been one of the guys that is, quote unquote, the legendary go-to guys in gambling Twitter. He's got war stories from here to Egypt and back. Very well respected. He's tried to put together a spreadsheet emulating Don Best in my eyes. Mm-hmm. And the first day of college basketball, it crashed. There was just too much data coming in. And so he has basically said to anyone interested in, that follows spreadsheets and numbers, reach out to him. He'll give you a link and you can follow it. Now, how you use it is all entirely up to you. And I took some time trying to figure this thing out. And obviously it's working. Get to the office today and doing the same stuff that I've been doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. 7 games hit. Now that's where my spaghetti strain has got to come in. So I got 7 games that my spaghetti strain has got to work on. And then I had 3 games that I handicapped. And listen, I've been in these lanes too long to start handicapping games, because when I start handicapping games, that's when it goes south. So I got big question marks next to those.
Sure. No, I'm excited for some of these college basketball ones. To kick it back to the same conversation, I had the 2 Big Ten plays that I was interested in, or games involving Big Ten teams. And I think DePaul ended up smoking Minnesota, and I leave that one on the desk. So kind of like I'm saying, I'm salty I left that. I would have rather played that one and got the easy win as opposed to the sweaty Penn State barely covered there. So college basketball. I've got some games I'm interested in talking with you about. There's a couple MACtion games that I don't know. I'm interested to bring those up as well and see if there's maybe a storyline or two that people aren't really talking about as far as maybe the weather in these games. But who knows? I don't know what we'll see. But then we've got some NHL. We've got a few NBA games, TNT NBA, I know, so a couple primetime games. So I'm ready to rock and roll, my friend. And then we didn't have strong thoughts on last night's game, but Washington ends up getting the outright win. So. Interested to see where we go the rest of the week here with the NFL lines, the way they're looking next week.
Yeah, a big board, kid in a candy store effect. Basically, quickly from last night's perspective, the Eagles were put in one of those spots coming off a bye week against a team that they've already beaten on the road. They're 8-0. When you sit for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, and read the headlines and listen to the glory, is this going to be the team to beat the 72 Dolphins in the undefeated season and 11-point favorites at home on a primetime game? We saw what they did to Minnesota there. So this is supposed to be a cakewalk. And even if you use the first half just to get the rust off, Washington wasn't backing down. The time of possession, as Ron talked about, was like 30 minutes to 7. And then I reached out to our buddy Dan Alexander, newbie. He's petrified because they can't stop the run. And as Ron said, not enough teams run it straight at him. You got 2 edge rushers that just want to sack the quarterback every play. How do you slow them down? Well, you run right at them. And Washington played keep away. Heineke wasn't scared. We talked about Scary Terry. He didn't get into the end zone.
Yeah.
Had a great game, though. So box to wire Washington. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, what's interesting. I mean, looking through this, it's easy to start overreacting. I mean, they're still a one-loss team as far as the Eagles are concerned. So I'm interested. I mean, the next 2 weeks though, I think could be really telling as far as how good they are exactly. I mean, if they bounce back and take care of business against the Colts and my Packers, then I think we are right to put them back into that, or not. Maybe we haven't taken them out of that category, but can firmly put them in that category, the top 3 teams in the NFL. But if they have some struggles here, maybe it's a good time to have your midseason struggle. But like you said, if Jonathan Taylor's able to run down their throats. If the Packers' run game is working and they did what they've done the last, the other day against Dallas, then this Eagles team is going to be in trouble in that regard, and maybe the blueprint is out on them. So I'm interested to see where Washington goes, though. I as a Packers fan, I was rooting for the Eagles because if you're thinking optimistically for the Packers, you're hoping the Eagles roll through the NFC East and beat up these other teams, and because if all 4 of these teams in the NFC East are in wild card contention, that's obviously, you get all 3 out of that division. That leaves the Packers out, and the Commanders have the tiebreaker over them. So I guess you probably feel optimistic still, whether you're the Packers, the Cardinals, or any of these other, Cowboys, whoever else. You probably feel somewhat confident that just like the the Commanders can win games like these, they can lose games like they did against the Vikings. So they've got something. They've got some obviously fantastic momentum, and their defense has been playing fairly well. So, you know what? I'd be lying if I said I was shaking in my boots from a playoff perspective as a Packers fan. But that win definitely hurt, and the tiebreaker, obviously, if that was out of all the games the Packers lost, the 5 games, that might be the one that I would take back as far as having that tiebreaker over them and kind of keeping them as a non-factor. But now, 5-5, they 5-5, they're definitely a factor. So I don't know. I am interested to see the way it continues going here. Maybe Heineke loses some steam and starts to have some more of these turnovers. But he's kind of limited himself to 1 turnover per game. And as I think as long as you can keep yourself for Heineke to 1 or no turnovers, you're gonna have a decent chance of winning those games. It's when he goes to the 2 turnovers, 3 turnovers that you really see those ugly performances, and then trying to claw your way back in, and then the turnovers or mistakes pile up. So if they can keep themselves out in front and play turnover free and get ahead of these games, then I don't see why they can't be a 9-win team at least. So I'm interested to see the way it goes. I'd bet on them regressing and losing some steam eventually here, but you got to give them some credit to some degree here. They played fantastic the last month and a half or so here.
Well, it's kind of comical. I read today it looks like Chase Young will be back on Sunday. Number 1. Number 2, Ron's got a big decision. Through the grapevine, Wentz is ready. Through the grapevine. I think you got to ride the hot hand. You just got to say, hey, Carson, just sit back, relax. If Heineke has that 3 turnovers in the first half, we'll loosen you up, get you in there. But I'm playing the hot hand.
I'm 100% with you. It's not like you were a losing football team with Carson. You obviously saw flashes of what, the positives of Carson. But like I was saying, even more so, even into this year, even more so maybe the deer in the headlights, happy feet. When the pressure comes, he's looked horrendous. So, and like we were talking yesterday, Heineke can have those random moments of turnovers and mistakes, but at the very least, he isn't backing down from the pressure. So yeah, I'm with you. You got to ride the hot hand until it cools down. And like you said, that probably is going to happen at some point, right? An ugly first half, and then. All right, we'll put Carson in, and if Carson has a nice hot half, then maybe we ride with Carson. But I'm with you. I'm going Heineke all the way until the wheels fall off right now.
MACtion tonight, 7:00, Bowling Green at Toledo. Toledo opens up 14 and a hook, now 16 and a hook at our friends at Circa and at South Point. They're an under-over that opened up at 50 and a hook, now a flat 50 and a half in a few spots. And the second game, Ohio at Ball State. Ohio opened at 4, now 3.5 straight across the board in Vegas. Under-over a 53 that is now 57. What are you seeing?
As far as I'm sorry, were you on the Ohio game first?
Bowling Green, Toledo.
Okay. Bowling Green Toledo. That one, I think you maybe I heard you wrong. That one's at 50.5, the game total on that one.
Correct.
Okay. Maybe I misheard you. I'm sorry. Toledo. Anyways, Toledo is obviously the talk of the town in the MACtion, along with Ohio for the most part here. I've always taken a stance of interest in the underdogs in these MACtion games, but I'm a little worried that Bowling Green the last 2 weeks, 13-9 a win against Western Michigan with a 13-point output, and then a 6-40 loss to Kent State. Maybe this is an overreaction, and you should be interested in them, but I'm a little nervous that they've kind of phoned it in, and this could be an ugly, ugly one here. The angle that I haven't heard really anybody talking about, and obviously it's MACtion, and sometimes they defy it anyways. I mean, these two games are in the Midwest, and it's going to be mid-30s, potential, cold, freezing rain, potentially snow. So I'm out on this one. I'm a little interested in maybe some type of lack of points. And less on this one. I'm interested in the other game a little more than I am with this one on lack of points, or just the underplay. Toledo, I could still see having plenty of success, running all over them, do whatever they want. And I was at first interested in the Toledo team total over in this one. Honestly, I think it's around 33.5. The weather and maybe it being cold and tough, and maybe it's a 28-10 type outing or something like that. I don't know, but I was interested in Toledo having a huge night, but that the weather kind of turned me off of it. The other one, the Ohio and Ball State one, a little interesting that the line is as close as it is 3.5. I know a lot of people, like I said, talk of the town, Toledo and Ohio. The perception is Ohio is more than a 3.5. So I am a gun to my head. I guess I'm going Ball State, but I'm kind of playing. Maybe the movement is a little interesting, but I'm kind of taking a stance with the cold weather and hoping this one stays under, and it's going to be a kind of a cold, freezing rain type game, and this one's going to be a lot more lower scoring than people are talking about than a typical MAC game. That's where I'm at. I'm obviously not a MAC expert, but if you had to force me to make a play, I'm going to the under in the Ohio and Ball State game right there.
I'm looking at team totals. The first one, Bowling Green and Toledo, 16.5 juiced under -125, and Toledo a flat 33.5. Again, those 32.5, 33.5 have been goal numbers for us all year. Haven't had success in the middle of the weeks. This has been a Saturday play, but I would look for the Toledo to get over 33.5 just for pizza and beer there. The Ohio and Ball State game is intriguing. The totals moved 3.5 points. Ohio 29.5 juiced over -125. Ball State 25.5 juiced over 125. So initially they're saying, does Ohio get to 30 or 31? And number two, does Ball State get to 27? So there's your 30 to 27 game.
Right. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm taking more of a 27-24 type approach to it. That's kind of where I'm going with the under there. But the movement is obviously interesting. I guess I'm calling BS on it. And like I said, it's a little pizza and beer money for me as far as this one is concerned. But I'm playing a little weather under on this one. Obviously, it's not windy or anything like that, but that cold freezing rain, man, that's there's a lot of fun elements to playing in football. The mid-30s freezing rain football game is the least fun that you can have on a football field. So I'm taking that angle from a less of a gambling insights type approach and more of a weather under type.
I like the thought process because they got the extra juice on both overs, but I could see 27 or 28 from Ohio, and I definitely could see 23 or 24 from Ball State.
Yep. Yeah. So, I don't know. I could see a Ball State having a nice night here, maybe pulling off the upset. But, I'll stick with the under there.
All right. Short slate in the NBA. Just a handful of games before we go to the college ranks where there's a boatload. Memphis at New Orleans, Clippers at Dallas, New York at Utah, San Antonio, Portland, Brooklyn, Sacramento. The eye test yesterday, I talked about a couple numbers that looked a little weird. The Atlanta versus +4 blowout Milwaukee. I said the Golden State, they was getting ready for them. So the eyes are just on fire right now.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Kind of comical. Brooklyn, 1.5 or 1 point dogs at Sacramento. That one obviously would scream to me. I think they're baiting you again to take New Orleans. Now this Memphis team has been a train wreck. We know that. Maybe this is their time to shine. New York and Utah are at a flat 4, some 4.5. There is 1.5 at South Point. And San Antonio, Portland. Portland opened at 7.5, now 8.5. You seeing anything in the NBA board?
Well, first, a little bit, yes. Are you mistaken Memphis with Minnesota? Memphis is 9-5.
Yes. You're right,
Yeah.
Minnesota. Yes.
So I was honestly thinking maybe they're baiting you into Memphis with that one because people love, and I don't know. I think people like both of these teams a lot, so that's what kept me away from it. Because I could see this one going either way as far as Memphis and New Orleans. Maybe the total over. I'm not sure. I don't have a ton of success with NBA totals unless it's a complete, one of our fade the public spots or something like that. Which there are a couple public oversides, which if I'm going anywhere, maybe I'm interested in those. I know Brooklyn and Sacramento, on top of, obviously Brooklyn being an underdog is a little interesting there. On a primetime game on TNT. I'm actually interested in the Kings in that one. They've been playing really well. And so has Brooklyn. The last, now that they've been without Kyrie, Kevin Durant's kind of righted the ship a little bit. So I think people are going to be flocking to Brooklyn in that one. So I took a little swing on the Kings in that one. And, I had a freebie as far as, a free same game parlay. So I took the Kings and the under in that one because it's two public sides in that one. So, and then the other... And then the other real public side that I think, I'll double check here, and I don't have strong thoughts on it. Maybe it's just a random occasion. But I think the Dallas and the Clippers over was a very public side. 212. I didn't see the line movement on it. It looks like it's kind of stuck right around the 212, maybe on up a half tick or down a half tick. Maybe I think it might have opened 211.5. But that was one. I mean, and both teams. I mean, the Clippers got it done. Their offense looked great last night, or at least box score-wise. I guess I can't say that I watched it, but 122, 106. But their offense has had some struggles, so maybe you see them regressing. These games are usually pretty tightly contested between these two teams. The Clippers on a back-to-back. Dallas, a few days rest. Maybe you see them resting. Maybe you see their defense have a nice night. I'm not sure. I guess, did you feel like that was kind of a statement, them 6.5, 7? As far as the line on that one itself, yeah. So I might be interested in Dallas and the under in that one right there.
No, I agree. I saw that, and I'm on Wager Talk right now, and it's a flat 7 across the board with the 212. It opened at 211.5. First instinct right away to me would be Dallas in the under. That would be my first instinct.
Right. And then let's see. We jumped around a little bit. I didn't have strong thoughts on Knicks and Utah. I mean, this Utah team is just so tough to call with the way they've played for me, and they finally started dropping a couple here. So maybe you see a resurgence here after dropping a couple. They had they had a day off prior to a back-to-back, and the Knicks have been honestly a little all over the place. So I don't know if you have strong thoughts on that one. That was the biggest one that I was throwing my hands up on for this entire NBA slate here.
Opened at 230 and a hook, now 232. New York, I think, is usually a public darling. Yeah. They have some talent. We're waiting for the Utah fade. I was out last night, my Monday bowling night. I shot a 701. I averaged 233 for the night, best series of the year. And I was talking, when is Utah going to fall? I mean, Danny decimated the team because we were talking one by Yamba sweepstakes. And here they come out of guns a-blazing. They're 4.5, some 5s, quick math. This is the old 117, 113 Utah game. So I don't know. I think I'm looking at the split, 63% of the bet, 68% of the money on Utah. The line's moving in the right direction. The over, 60% of the bet, 62% of the money on the over. Went from 230.5 to 232. I would not be shocked if Utah won by 4. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, I that could be one that's pretty close to spot. I'm with you on that one. The other one that I didn't play because these teams are kind of all over the place, but I'll take a lean on the Spurs plus the 8 after getting smoked by Golden State as 8.5 point favorites. Now you give them Portland again as around 8 point Portland 8 point favorites. And the Spurs have had a ton of success in this rival, I don't know if you call it a rivalry matchup out in the West there. Again, I've talked about this team as on paper they don't look like a team that's putting any fear into you, and I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but they're a team that can score, and this Portland team is a little sporadic on both ends of the floor here. So both teams are a little too sporadic for me to play this game, but I'll take a lean on the Spurs plus the 8 there.
Marty Lowe shouts out, "What's up, guys? Jaren Jackson back for the Grizz." So little Memphis love there. Marty, the line's going the other way. I think they like Zion a little better, but we'll see there. Be a fun game to watch at 7:30 my time there. As for that, Portland, didn't they just get spanked? Their last game.
Let's see. They lost by 5 to Dallas a few nights ago.
Okay, I think they were getting 7 or 8. I thought that number was high, and I thought actually Dallas would cover that, but they didn't, obviously. Tough game there again. San Antonio, what's Pops doing? I mean, we know what he wants to do, but is he going to get there?
I know. I'll say I think the Blazers win, but I think who knows? It wouldn't surprise me though if the Blazers won by 40, and now we start to see the fall off the cliff from the Spurs either. So that's why I'm staying away from it. But yeah, this Spurs team has been frisky. Maybe this is the time they fall off the cliff. I don't know, but yeah, I'll say Blazers win, but Spurs cover. How about that?
College hoops. There is a boatload of games.
Yes.
Got some classics in here as well. I'm going to let you do your thing and just go down the board. Then I'll pull out my sheet, what the Bible says, and we'll go from there. My games that I'll talk about probably won't hit your board, trust me. So
maybe, who knows? I've got a couple randos. I've got a couple real random games here. The first one though, we basically, whether we played it or not, as far as our leans or plays, we went 2-0 on Big Ten Big East games. So let's start there. Northwestern and Georgetown. Northwestern -1.5. I am so this one is kind of clashing styles, right? Northwestern's looking like a good defensive team. Georgetown obviously kind of high tempo, high scoring offensive team. But Northwestern, I know I obviously I don't want to sound like I'm doing the same thing I did with their football team. It's a totally different story. I'm not saying Northwestern's a dark horse to win the Big Ten, but they will at least be a competitive team here in the Big Ten this year in basketball, unlike their football team. And people should not be looking at them like they're 200th ranked KenPom team. They're 68th in KenPom right now. So, if the Big Ten had a down year, was in a down year, they might be a dark horse, this team, to win the Big Ten. But I think they'll pull off a few upsets. But I don't know. I'm a little nervous as far as the clashing styles, as maybe hard to predict the styles here. But I'm interested in Northwestern taking care of business here. I don't think they're getting enough credit here. Am I right to be thinking that way, or is this maybe too hard to call with the clashing styles here?
There's a couple teams today that are real hard to get a feel for. Georgetown, one of them. Louisville, another one. Vanderbilt, another one. The guys that have not come out that good out of the gate. I'm looking at KenPom right now. He's got Northwestern 73-72 with a 145. The total's up to 148. It is 148.5 in DraftKings. A line that basically was Northwestern 1. It's 1.5. There are some 2s out there. Listen, if you're going to play Northwestern today, please just play the money line. And in case a 3 from half court, a missed free throw, you don't want the walk off and say, hey, Northwestern won, but didn't cover. Tough read. I'll lean Big Ten here. How's that?
Okay. I like it. It wouldn't surprise me if Georgetown offense is what controls this tempo here, and they go, they win by 20 because Northwestern can't keep up. That wouldn't surprise me. And I think at the end of the day, I think Northwestern will be seen as the better team, but this is just, the way these two teams play, it's tough to call here for sure. So, interested if this is one that was, at least on your question mark board. Washington State, 69th ranked team in KenPom up against Prairie View A&M, the 316th ranked team per KenPom, but it's only an 11-point spread. What the hell is going on in this one?
Well, you dug deep for that one. Let me pull that one up.
Well, because I told you, I have this weird affliction with the SWAC, which is one of the worst conferences, maybe the worst conference in Division I basketball. And so whenever I see these close spreads like this, it's like, what the hell is going on here? There's no way these teams are this close, but maybe and I saw no injuries, or maybe one, rotation player injury, role player injury for Washington State. That's it though.
The actual number is 13 and a hook with a 137. The number right now is 10.5 and a 143. Let's go over to the Bible, see what he has to say. 77-63. He's got it at 14. The way that it's been working is you take the real number versus the number out there. So the
Sure.
side to play is Washington State.
That's what and like I said, this SWAC is I, for whatever reason I found success with them, but when they play these teams, for the most part, it is a lack of success, and they get their butts kicked. Maybe the 300 they have. I think they've played 2 non-D1 teams and one easy, so maybe the 316 ranking is unfair in that case. But it was at least something I'm always interested in. Maybe these lines being wrong and taking the Power 5 team in that case. But I'll leave that one on the desk there for sure. What about this one? St. Bonaventure and South Dakota State. Was this one of these ones that you had marked or no? Because the 7-point spread stood out to me because I knew I've always as St. Bonaventure has been one of these frisky teams or even really good teams there every once in a while, but very, very close in the KenPom rankings, 127 and 121, 7-point spread. Is there anything to note here?
Well, we're 2-0 on this spot here, okay? Because if you go to the actual number, and let me pull it up here, 634. These guys, this time of day, they're doing their NBA props, and it screws up my spreadsheet here. All right, so when I pull up this game, the actual number is South Dakota State minus 1.5 with a 143. Okay, that's the actual number.
Okay.
Now, when there's been corrected numbers, the corrected number has won. Okay. And won all so far this year. I'm 2-0 on this. Sure. So you have hit one of ours. South Dakota State, I am going to suggest minus 6.5 tonight. St. Bonnie's is one of those public trendy dogs who are also 2-0 with this year. The Florida Gulf Coast was one of them. The Vermont was another one. And we are on South Dakota State today, minus 6.5.
I was at least it seemed like one that should be close to a toss-up spread, so it was eye-opening for me. By the way, this is obviously college basketball talk. I got the update. I don't know if you saw it. Anthony Rizzo re-signs with the with the Yankees. I don't know if you saw that.
What?
Yep. I don't know what the deal was, but I think right as we were going live, Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees.
Wow. All right. Well, he's lost a little of the power. He's a great defensive first baseman. He's a lefty that you got to put in the lineup, which you always need a good lefty bat. Veteran. Would have helped you out, would have helped me out, especially you if Abreu left. We talked about that yesterday. So hats off to the Yankees. Good job.
Hats off to him. To stick there for a second, I saw something that said maybe the White Sox have better chance of getting Abreu back or more interest than people are letting on. And then I saw another rumor, Seattle might be shopping Jesse Winker, and the White Sox could be in that market, which if we're getting 2021 Jesse Winker, then please sign me up. Nonetheless, we need an outfield left-handed bat, so one way or another, it might be a decent fit there.
And one of the beat writers for Boston talked about the Red Sox on Winker and the bounce back. Yeah, the Sox are famous taking these guys off the scrap heap, coming off a bad year, bad situation, and trying to catch lightning in a bottle at a cheap price. So I don't know what the price tag will be.
Yeah, right.
But he was, so it'll be interesting there.
Interesting. All right, so back to college basketball here. Let's get into a couple of the bigger games.
I'm just going to cut you off. TJ, if you're listening, close your eyes. Providence 9, Stonehill nothing.
Hey, there you go. Let's see. Kentucky and Michigan State. The two, I'm drawing a blank on what they call these games, but this one is a lot of times it's in Chicago. This one is in Indy. Kentucky and Michigan State. I'll ask you this question. I was waiting to ask you this. Do you think this is more of an overreaction, or what am I, is this a surprising, were you surprised to see this one so low, as a 7.5, or was this more of an overreaction to Michigan State hanging real tight with Gonzaga in outdoors on a boat? Which of the two options here?
I think the actual number was 6.5. Okay, it's flat sevens. Now the public is going to go to Izzo and what they saw against the Zags.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised they didn't hang a higher number and let them chew at the apple. So unless they're trying to show you some reverse line movement here, Ken Palm has got Kentucky 74-66, an 8-point winner. So my math there is 140, and we got an under over a 141. Kentucky just landed the number one recruit player in the country, I heard yesterday. So Cal I guess Cal coached his dad, I think it was, they said somewhere back in the article I read. Listen, if anyone wanted to run and take Michigan State, God bless you. I don't have it's so hard, any Izzo team. And when you're getting points like this, listen, they played their ass off against Gonzaga. They had them on the ropes.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. And it's it's interesting that I guess I was more interested in the under in that last game, but I as far as the spread, I lean towards Gonzaga in there just because of the almost, I don't want to say lack of success, because every once in a while he does have lack of success, but for the most part, lack of success in the early portion of the season, especially in these tough games, and then figuring it out in January, February, March. That's kind of where I'm leaning again here. And the teams that kind of go against that are some of the teams that are his no doubt huge recruits, top 10 teams coming into the season. Sometimes they fall and skid, but sometimes they're great. These teams that are unranked or kind of middling teams, maybe they'll be a really competitive team in the Big Ten, but I don't know. I'm interested in Kentucky. It's still hard to call though. I'm not going. It's not like I'm going all the way in, ringing a bell all the way for the Kentucky window here. But I'm interested in Kentucky here.
And here's what I would say: if you wanted to play both TV games, you wanted to play the Michigan State Kentucky game, the Duke Kansas game, and you liked Kentucky, here's what I would suggest. Just put together a little 2-piece money line parlay, take your Kentucky, even though the price will be steep, and then flip your coin between Kansas and Duke and have a night.
Yeah, I had to laugh. I as I'm wearing my Michigan State T-shirt here, going Kentucky on the spread there. So I like that. I like that suggestion. Let's go to that game. Interested? If you have a lean? It's like you said. Maybe it's more of a coin flip. I don't have strong thoughts. Duke and Kansas. Let me find it here. Now I'm seeing up. FanDuel posted 2.5. That I don't know if that I've seen it up to 2.5 on any spot today. I don't know about you, but 2 in most spots I think now. But now I'm seeing Duke 2.5 on FanDuel. Total 145.5 or so. Any way that you're leaning in this one between these two teams?
Well, you got Coach Kayla's team, and I'm assuming Bill Self's still out here for Kansas. I would follow the flip. I would have Duke here again. I would play Duke on the money line. Leave the points, the 2.5s on the table. If you're going to Duke, you better get them now, because by 9:30 it probably could be 2.5, closer to 3. Again, 2 powerhouses. I don't know what you're going to get from either one. Ken Palm's got a Kansas 74-73. It's an absolute coin flip. He's got Duke at 11, Kansas at 10. These two could see each other in the Final Four come March and April. So on your pizza and beer parlay, I'll go chalk sandwich here. I'll go Kentucky Duke.
I'm glad we're on the same page. That's where I was leaning with this one. I like to suggest. I didn't think of the 2-teamer. That's a good suggestion there. That might be something I'm interested in for some pizza and beer money there. So, I don't know. Do you take any stock into? I guess I don't know. I think Duke handled business. Do you take any stock into Kansas? They've been massive numbers, so maybe there's no stock in it at all. But failed to cover by I think 10 points. Obviously, they just barely failed to cover. Any stock in that as far as these lines being an indication that maybe they're not quite as strong as we think, or is that just a random coincidence?
We talked late last Thursday or Friday on the Kansas game. I think they were 28 or 29. I said to play them in the first half. They were up 29 at halftime. They got backdoored late, so they're playing their starters, getting the big lead, and getting the kids in for the second half. Just early season, getting some kids some action. Yeah. There'll be none of that tonight. Trust me. Okay. There's a lot of recruits that will be at this game, and big time programs on both sides. It should be a fun night there.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I was just curious on that one. It's definitely not something that I'm trying to, it's overanalysis, I guess, is closer to what that is for sure there. So let's see. I've got a couple more that I wanted to throw your way. At least an interesting game. I'm interested in your thoughts. don't have a play on it. Big Ten, Purdue, are they hosting Marquette there? I think, yeah, hosting Marquette. 8.5. Is that a statement line for Purdue, or I guess I don't know. I'm still learning a little bit more about Marquette. I don't know. I think Purdue is better than people are giving them credit for here. So I was interested in Purdue, but wouldn't surprise me if this was that one's real coin flip as far as the spread there.
Purdue was one of those teams. A lot of these teams in the Big Ten that have my number. I just try to get a gauge in these games leading up to conference and then get a good temperature. And I have a real hard time. I'll tell you the actual number is 9 with a 146.5. Now there are some 7.5s out there with a 150.5. I'll just tell you outside looking in. There's only one way that number could have went and is down. So I would honestly give you my true insight would say Marquette would be that public trendy dog. And I would lean more towards Purdue covering the 7.5 here. In the Bible has Purdue 79-69. They got them winning by 10. Purdue 21st and Marquette 72nd. Marquette's always a scrappy team, and they get a couple upsets every year.
Yeah.
I just don't think tonight's the night.
Okay. No, I'm with you. I like this Purdue team. Obviously no Jaden Ivey, so they lost a little bit off the top, but no, still a solid team. Still a potentially really good team in the Big Ten here. So I think I have one more, and then you can drop any other ones that you were interested in. Another one, as just looking at why is this one as short as it is. Dayton at UNLV, plus 4.5. Dayton, I think 22nd on KenPom. UNLV 117 on KenPom. Anything to see here, or is that a fair line?
The spreadsheet's got it 4.5 with a 133. Best number out there now is 3.5. It's going the other way. I do see a consensus of 4.5 with a 132. The Bible has it Dayton 71-64. Dayton 22nd, UNLV 117. I can say during the year, I'm the guy that's got UNLV on that Saturday night +4 against Utah State, and they went outright. I'm also the one that's got them +3 against San Diego State, and San Diego State wins by 20. I got a soft spot. I usually get out to the MAC at least once a year, MAC Arena. As we're speaking, Penny has dropped it to 3.5. So either the game's getting stale and they're looking for some money here. I'll tell you, I'll lean UNLV, and when we talk tomorrow, I'll have the egg on my face.
I'm not staying away, or I'm not playing it. I'm staying away. It was at least something that I was interested because I know Dayton obviously is one of the talk of the town as far as the mid-majors. So it was at least interesting to me. But anything else that you had to mention as far as the college basketball slate? Anything I missed?
All right, I'll bring up the early morning numbers that caught my eye, and we'll just go from there. The first game, again, Louisville against Appalachian State, a 6 o'clock start. This Louisville team, snake bit, atrocious, whatever you want to call it. The actual number is 9 with a 135. There are some 5.5s. If you can get Louisville at 5.5, just throw some pizza and beer money on him. I think you're getting an overreaction. Listen, it's App State. It's not Alabama. I get that part of it. But you're getting an overreaction. When I know the true number is 9 here, let's see what KenPom is thinking. He's got Louisville 73-64. He's got it right at 9. So it's 45 minutes before tip-off. Anyone out here listening sees a Louisville minus 5.5. Go grab it for some pizza and beer money. That was number 1. Number 2, rotation number 628, Chattanooga and Ole Miss. Kiefer's Chattanooga team versus his Ole Miss team. The actual number is 14 with a 140. It's down to 10 and a 135.5, 136. KenPom has this at 77-64. They got an Ole Miss winning by 13 here. So I was initially on Ole Miss. If you can get them at a flat 10, want to buy the hook by 9.5, I think you're going to get a double-digit winner there with Ole Miss. We talked about San Diego State minus 6.5 against the Bonnies. That was a 1 that got corrected to 6.5, 7. Those have been undefeated for us this year. So take a look at San Diego State. This one is just one that caught my eye. I will not be playing it. I will mention it. Oklahoma, UNC Wilmington. The true line is 16 with a 130. I'm seeing 11s out there with a 127.5. Ken Palm has Oklahoma winning. Come on, eyes. Don't do this to me now. 73-58. He's got him winning by 15. So if you want to shop around and grab an Oklahoma, again, you can get them right now. Let me give you the current number again. This thing moved on me. You can get some 11s out there. You want to take a peek at Oklahoma minus 11, go ahead. And then the total of the day that really blew my mind here, NC State against FIU. Okay. And this one's a mind blower. I don't know what to do with it. Let me pull it up here. The true number is 148. The under over right now is 158. It was a corrected number. So technically the value's on the under. So do you trust the Bible here, or do you trust the corrected number at 158? Ken Palm, as we speak, has NC State winning. See where he's got them winning. Oh, my eyes. Oh, there he is. He's got him 82-67, so he's got it right at 149. So it's kind of comical. If you wanted to get the under on the adjusted, there's some 158s, please do. We'll just be keeping an eye on that one as the corrected one there. And the last one I had, rotation number 663. Cal at UC San Diego. I have a number of 5 for Cal. The corrected number is now 2. And I have Ken Palm here having Cal winning this game. Where are you, Cal? 69-65. So he's got him winning by 4. So again, late night special, a little pizza and beer money. Cal money line, probably get him around 122 or something to take care of business there. That was my college sheets.
Okay. I'll add one more to it because they just I played the other side, College of Charleston, on I think it was Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, and it actually ended up getting real sweaty down the wire. UNC and Charleston on Friday. They were winning. I think it was within 5 with 5 minutes left, and all of a sudden there's 2 minutes left, and North Carolina's up by 16, shooting threes, and I'm starting to sweat. But
on the show, what did I give you in that game?
I don't remember.
Team total UNC over 91.
Did you? Okay, I guess I don't remember.
And I think they got to 100, or it was like 98, 99, something like that.
They got to 100, yeah. But I was on Charleston, and that was the one that I put to the side. Basically, wrote in my own mental green check mark, and then the next thing I know, it's sweaty. But anyways, huge public side again for UNC, number 1 team in the country, 22.5 with Gardner-Webb. Is that a little fishy there? Maybe a chance to take Gardner-Webb, and maybe UNC's gonna mess around. I mean, they failed to cover 2 straight now and had some smaller spreads. Is this going to be 3 straight, or is that I don't know. It seems like an overreaction, but the public I saw on DraftKings, I think it was 90% of bets and money on the bets and money on the spread for North Carolina there.
I'm trying to find. Do you have a rotation number right there?
Let's see. I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, it must be down here. UNC.
And the over is a very public side, too.
How come I can't find it here? UNC, you said?
Yep, North Carolina, they're playing Gardner-Webb.
When there's so many games, my eyes deceive me. These glasses are just for show. Trust me, I'm blind as a bat here.
These apps that I use, or at least during the show, don't give me the game numbers on them there.
Let me go over here for you. Hold on. UNC. Well, TJ's team's down 27-11 right now.
Oh boy.
Oh, there we go. 306, 706. So we're way down there. Okay, let me get to what the Bible says. There we go. I got a true number of 20 and a hook, and there's only one way that number's going to go is up because it's UNC. A total of 140 and a hook to 142. Again, where's our UNC total going to go? But up. My gut would tell me Gardner-Webb in the under. That's what my gut would tell me from reading this.
Right. And it's like I said, on DraftKings, their tracker's got 90% of bets and money on UNC, and it's only going up from 20.5 to 22.5. It looks like. So I'm a little hesitant. I didn't take them night one. Took them because they had a 18.5 point spread and failed to cover that one with UNCW, I think, and then ended up getting closer to a cover against College of Charleston, but it was actually a game for 35 minutes there. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to take a second to get themselves actually playing like the number one team. I don't know if that I'm jumping into it again, but I'm going anywhere. I'm going Gardner-Webb there.
And shout out to my boys at UConn, rotation number 625, 626, host Buffalo tonight at 7 o'clock. I think this game's is at Stores. The true number, 20 and a half, juiced over 9 cents, 151 and a half. Now I'm seeing 20 and a half. Actually, consensus 21 with a 153 and a half or a 154. I'll just tell you from my experience, when UConn gets a total of a 151, it's usually an overplay. I know that helps Buffalo here. I'd probably even look at a UConn team total here. If I do some quick math here, 85, 65, 80, 85, 87. So you're probably getting a team total for UConn right around that 86 number. I would actually.
87.5.
What do you got? 87 and a half?
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes over. I think UConn gets to 90 today. So that's my UConn play of the day. UConn team total over 87 and a half.
Interesting. James Madison just got to 97, 62 against Buffalo. So maybe gets maybe UConn gets that 100 number. I don't know. But either way, I think that's about all I've got. I don't think there was any other Big Ten games unless actually that's not true. I know Wisconsin is also playing. So is Maryland, but I don't know what to make of those ones. Wisconsin against Green Bay. Green Bay's not a very good basketball program. So, I'm not sure what to make of that one. But, nothing crazy on these other two Big Ten games here.
To the NHL ranks, I'm just going to say this, guys. This is purely handicapping. Late last week, Pittsburgh comes into Toronto. Big dogs. Beats them 4-2. Now, they come back and play in Pittsburgh. Leafs are a short favorite. Most people thinking of the revenge spot. You got the Leafs minus 108 there. Their team totals over 3.5 plus 115. I think they probably get to 4. I think they reverse it here. I think the Leafs get a 4-2 win there. That's a handicap spot there. The other handicap spot, San Jose State, team total under 2.5 at Vegas. A Vegas first period minus the hook plus 115. Again, those are handicap spots. The one NHL play that definitely will be on tonight, Devils team total under 3.5 plus 100 at Montreal. We had the Carolina team total 3.5 under at Chicago. I was afraid of the empty netter there. That's why I left it on the desk, and it stayed at 3-0. So we're hoping that the Devils do the same tonight. They don't get the empty netter. The Habs have killed me twice this year. Now they'll probably be a sieve and give up 6 goals, but that's where my eyes are there.
I like, my Blackhawks get the rough outing last night, at least offensively there. So, I'm not the guy to help you out too much with these NHL lines, my friend.
Anything else? Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. I don't know. I guess the one to ask you about an early NFL. What was the game that I was interested in asking you about? There was a line that I was Buffalo and Cleveland for the NFL as far as an early look at. Were you surprised to see Buffalo single digits against Cleveland right now?
Buffalo's
8.5 point favorites at home against Cleveland.
Good question.
Kind of stinky, right?
They were breaking down what Buffalo's done the last couple of years. They have this hiccup all the time. And then if you look at their schedule, they're going to end the year at worst 7-1. They had them losing at Cincinnati. That was it. So they got them at 13-4 to end the year.
At home, you mean?
What's that?
No, sorry, go ahead. Never mind. I didn't know what you were saying, but I got you.
No, they had that. They broke down their last 8 games.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. My bad. Okay.
And they had their only loss at Cincinnati. I think that was week 17 or something. Let me flip it to you. After what you've seen the last 2 weeks, are you more comfortable laying or taking?
I don't have any. I'm not running to the window with confidence on Cleveland, but at least that number is something to see. I the way they've been playing. I mean, defensively. I mean, I guess they had the huge game against Cincinnati defensively. But aside from that, I mean, I don't think Buffalo's going to have. Buffalo's not going to let them get that type of pressure. So I don't know. I'm not comfortable either way. I'm staying far away, I guess, is what I'm saying there. I guess that one feels fishy to me. I might take it, but it feels gross. I don't like this Cleveland team at all right now.
Well, let me ask you this. What does Philly and Buffalo both have in common? They can't stop the run.
Oh, right.
What does Cleveland do best?
Oh, they run very well. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So Miami was 5-point favorites against Cleveland, and it closed at 3.5. Mm-hmm. So now you add a field goal on top of it. Buffalo's lost 2 in a row. Here's the hard part to wrap around is there's no way in holy hell everyone's saying Buffalo can lose 3 in a row. Right. We know that, right? They lost to the Jets. Now they just lost to Minnesota. So with that said, they're trying to cover their asses with the teasers. All right, well, Buffalo's going to win by at least 3 then. So they're trying to cover all their angles. Watson won't be back. But, again, they're just trying to get a feel and a temperature on what the general public is thinking.
Yeah. I'm and it seems like I'll see what the tracker here is saying. Because I see a consensus on the MACtion app. They've got 56% of bets and 54% of money on Cleveland spread, but that's consensus, and that's probably a lot more pro bettors. And then on DraftKings, you got 71% of money and 67% of bets on Buffalo, which is probably a little more public money there. So, I know that's a great. As far as the running game, that's a great point. I would be, and now I'm seeing 9.5 on DraftKings, so I guess I don't know. But either way, that one is at least eye-opening, especially, the public perception of it is going to be a Buffalo winning by about 30 points, let alone a touchdown and a field goal over there. So I'm with you. I mean, I didn't realize what you're opposing as far as the similarities with run game, but obviously Cleveland, if they can maybe get out to a 10-7 or something like that lead, then this game could be interesting for sure. I'm not sure what to make of it.
And the general consensus and the Vegas is saying the public will push that to 10. We don't need to open it at 10 or 10.5 because the wise guys will buy the 10.5 with the Browns, wait till it goes down to 9.5 and jump back on Buffalo, hope it lands on 10 and win both sides. So the public will take that to 10. Don't worry about that. Again, Jacoby's going to have to win the turnover battle. He can't have 3 red zone turnovers. You're going to need a big day from Chubb, from Hunt. Peoples-Jones has made a nice the last couple of weeks. He's looked good. Where is Amari Cooper? Is Njoku but back and healthy? So the defense, again, will have to play a big game. I just think I won't touch the game. I'm waiting for Buffalo to get it running, but my circuit ticket with the Bills and Bama is dead because of Bama. So I don't have a stake in the game right now.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, it's obviously we're getting into it's going to be cold on Sunday. I'm wondering what the wind is. If it's going to be a windy, whipping day, then obviously, and Buffalo might have struggles throwing it, then that completely favors Cleveland as far as running the ball there. So I wasn't. Maybe that's part of the angle as well, as far as why it's single digits too. So that's that might be one thing that definitely. I'm not touching Buffalo. That's a fishy one that's going to keep me far away from Buffalo. But maybe that weather is what keeps me or pushes me into the Cleveland boat there. I don't know.
We shall see, my brother. We shall see.
Anything else? I got nothing else, though. That's it.
No. All right. Full slate Any comments, questions, concerns, you can reach me at EC Sports Invest. You can reach Riley at Riley_Magnuson, the one. Ask away. That's what we're here for. We can't thank you guys enough for watching and listening, going over to YouTube, subscribing at East Coast Sports Investors, going over to TikTok, averaging 1.5 million views a month. We're doing something right, and we're excited about that. And we hope to get big and bigger. Head on over to East Coast Sports Investors on YouTube, on Twitch. Subscribe. It's free. Give us a like. We love that. It's like tipping the dealer at the Bellagio. That's what it's all about. So have some fun tonight. There's a million angles, a million ways to go there. We'll see if the ECSI VIPs can keep up this heater. And until tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Andrew McGinnis, as we're going to go over to the border and we're going to talk to him before he's coming back to Boston this weekend. So I'm going to try to catch up with him. He's got a Bruins-Flyers game, and then he's got the Patriots-Jets game. So he knows how to do it. So he'll be handling the city life in Beantown this weekend. So we'll have him at 1 o'clock, and then I'll be on it. No, I won't. That's Thursday. You and I actually, I don't know. Either you or Scotty will be here for the closing bell tomorrow. You'll definitely be here on Thursday, and we'll figure out the week from here. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me. Packers Titans on Thursday, so I will definitely be here for you on Thursday, my friend.
And we'll be waiting for your blog, sir.
Oh, absolutely. I need a bounce back. I'm due. I'm doer than due.
Well, it's hopefully on Friday we're not talking about O. Henry. How's that sound?
Yeah, hopefully not. And a 4-7 record for the Packers. Hopefully not.
No, 4-6. How's that sound?
That's where we are now. We need 5-6.
5-6. How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right, peeps. We'll see you soon.